Hello there. In today's video I am going to be shooting the gambeson bundle with arrows. It should be noted that the bow I'm shooting is only about 40 pounds, as I have a permanent injury in my shoulder. To compensate for the weak bow, I'm shooting at very close range, only about 10 paces or so. This should hopefully simulate a war bow at a more reasonable range. Nevertheless, these tests are just to give a rough idea. They are not a very good representation of medieval archery. The first hit was a bodkin arrow. It penetrated only 1 or 2 layers and bounced off. Again, more or less the same result. This hit was a broadhead arrow. It penetrated the bundle about halfway. It should be noted that this broadhead arrow is tanged rather than socketed. A socketed arrow would have done a little bit better. Again, the broadhead arrow penetrated only about halfway. Here the bodkin arrow penetrated several layers and stuck in the armor. After these tests, I can say conclusively that 24 layers is immune to arrows from my bow. Let's unfold it a little bit and see how well 12 layers does. The broadhead arrow penetrated the armor to the hilt. It went out the other side of the armor by about 3/4 of an inch. Not pleasant, but not life-threatening either. Much the same result. And again, it should be noted that a socketed medieval arrow would have done a little bit better. The bodkin arrow bounced off harmlessly, only penetrating 1 layer. And again it bounces off harmlessly. I would call 12 layers immune to bodkin points and life-saving to broadhead points from my bow. Let's unfold it again and see how 6 layers does. This time the broadhead arrow was stopped entirely by the shaft. It went out the other side by about 2 inches. And again, a socketed arrow would have gone right through. The bodkin point still bounces off, however. The broadhead arrow again penetrates to much the same degree. And again the bodkin bounces off. This time the bodkin penetrated the armor, but only by about half an inch. This time the bodkin arrow penetrated by about 1.5 inches. The arrow struck where the armor is only 3 layers thick and penetrated about 7 inches. Here the bodkin arrow went out the other side by about 1 inch. And finally it went out the other side by about 1.75 inches. In conclusion, against my hunting bow at least, 6 layers is of very little value against broadhead arrows, and fairly decent against bodkin points. That's all I have to say. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.